That was cool. Good evening, and welcome to the City Club of Cleveland and to Cuyahoga County Public Library, Parma Snow Branch. I'm Tim DeGeeter, Mayor of Parma, Ohio's 7th largest city. So welcome to Parma. As well as, and welcome to the State of the County, which will be delivered by Cuyahoga County Executive Armond Budish. Armond is a good friend who I had the pleasure of serving in the Ohio House when he was our speaker. Mr. Budish took office in January of this year, our county's second elected county executive. His election came after a vigorous campaign, one distinguished by a bipartisan commitment by both candidates to focus on economic development and job creation. And coming into office this January, Cuyahoga County Executive Budish inherited a county government that had been remade in the previous 4 years. In his inaugural address, Mr. Budish laid out 4 priorities to deliver economic growth to the region. First, strengthening existing assets, specifically our lake and our investment in the Convention Center and Global Center for Health Innovation. Second, supporting the entrepreneurial ecosystem. Third, a stronger workforce development pipeline. And fourth, supporting the prison reentry community become employed and reduce the recidivism. And he promised to, quote, think big and take some risks. The intervening 100-plus days have been marked by a widely covered review of the county's budget and spending commitments. And I think there was also something about 100 meetings with business leaders in those first 100 days. I guess we'll find out how that worked. In all seriousness, though, that budget review prompted praise from both the media and county council members on the other side of the aisle. And there's not much of an aisle separating Republicans and Democrats in Cuyahoga County. The Plain Dealer editorial board called his approach an example of clear-eyed policy. And Republican David Greenspan, who's here tonight and chairs the Finance and Budgeting Committee, said, quote, we are aligned as far as the ideology Armond has adopted on finances. I'm sure we're going to hear much more about this, and I know we want to get to it. So ladies and gentlemen, members and friends of the City Club of Cleveland, citizens of Cuyahoga County, please join me in welcoming our County Executive, Armond Budish.
Great job with the gun. Good evening, everybody. We are at a unique moment in time. Never in my lifetime has our region been more poised for greatness. Our challenges remain daunting, but our opportunities to move to a new level of innovation and opportunity should give all of us not only a sense of optimism, but a sense of collective purpose. That's why I'm so honored and excited to serve as your county executive. This is my 104th day in office. It's hard to believe the time has just flown by. It seems like just 103. That's the one piece of humor in this, by the way. I'd like to take a moment to recognize several of my partners in our efforts to move our region forward. County Council already has shown itself to be a critically important and willing partner in moving the county down the path to prosperity. I'd like to thank Council President Dan Brady, Pernell Jones, Vice President, and the entire Council for their leadership and commitment to advancing our shared goals, and many of them are here tonight. Thank you all for coming. The goodwill, hard work, and collaboration of all of our city partners is another reason I'm optimistic about our future. I look forward to working closely with Cleveland Mayor Frank Jackson. with Mayor Tim DeGeeter of our host city, Parma, with Independence Mayor Gregory Kurtz, who's president of the Northeast Ohio Mayors and Managers Association, and all of our elected local officials. Many again are here tonight. And I look forward to collaborating with all of our devoted federal and state legislators who so ably represent Northeast Ohio. We all have a stake in the entire region's success. Now, I can't talk about partners without mentioning my wife, Amy, who's here tonight. Amy, can you stand for a second? She shares my passion for making sure this government best serves the people of Cuyahoga County. I thank her for her wise counsel, which is based on her years of experience as a community leader and consumer affairs advocate. And I especially appreciate the fact that she never criticizes anything I do. I'd also like to thank the Cuyahoga County Public Library System, the good people at this Parma Snow Library branch, and the City Club of Cleveland for making this event possible. You might have noticed that this is the first year that the state of the county is not downtown at noon. This change is no accident. For us to be successful, our county government must be accessible and transparent. A good first step is to step outside our doors and into the community to talk to our residents after work hours and at a price anyone can afford, free. I'm incredibly optimistic about our future. There's a new energy everywhere you go. Can't you just feel it? It's great. In fact, it's not just me being the cheerleader. People all over are starting to substitute a new R word for the old one. When they speak of Cleveland, it's Renaissance, not Rust Belt. Foders, Travel and Leisure, and the New York Times all recognize we're one of the top places in the world to come to visit and spend some time. And just last week, USA Today named us one of the top romantic spring getaways. Now, I don't know how they conducted that survey, but we'll take it. LeBron James has returned home. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, you can clap for LeBron, that's good. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductions will be home in a few short days for a spectacular weekend. And next year, the RNC will call Cleveland home. We are on a roll. We can boast of brain gain during the last several years. Today, 17% of our workers have an advanced degree, which makes us 10th in the country. We can boast the 6th most hospital jobs and the 3rd highest hospital job growth in the nation. When Philips Healthcare announced it was moving its nuclear medical headquarters here, Governor Kasich tweeted, "Silicon Valley is coming to Cleveland." While this is an exciting moment in our history, we must keep pressing our pedal to the metal. There's lots to do and no time to waste. Our county has suffered too much population and job loss. Our unemployment rate is way too high, almost a full point higher than the state rate. Too many of our most vulnerable citizens, particularly our children and our seniors, are living in poverty. And our infant mortality rate is shamefully high. These are problems that we can solve if we all work together. So let's focus on the essential, unique role county government must play in engaging with all of our residents to achieve a broad-based, sustainable, healthy, and prosperous future. My 3 top priorities, I've boiled them down to 3 now, not 4. My 3 top priorities are simple. First is job growth and opportunity. We must support businesses as they create and grow jobs at all levels. Creating job openings alone, though, is not enough. We, the county, must also help people get the education and training they need to qualify for those jobs. And we must keep our cities and our neighborhoods vibrant and dynamic to attract and retain the talent needed to fuel business growth. Second is fairness. It's equity. It's justice. Finally bridging the wide opportunity gap that holds so many of us back. It's stunning to me that in 2015, we still permit the accident of birth, those factors beyond our control, like who our parents are, their zip code, or the color of our skin, to be predictors of the future. Whether our babies will live to see their first birthdays, whether our 5-year-olds will be ready for kindergarten, whether our young people will be headed for college, or whether our courageous entrepreneurs can get a business loan. We must do better, and we will. Third is government that gets results. Whether you're a resident or a business seeking help, you shouldn't need a PhD to access and navigate the maze of government. Not just county government, but all levels of government. If you walk into a county office with a question, you should walk out with an answer, even if it's not a, quote, county problem. It's my goal to figure out how we can create a solution-driven county government, one that's efficient, effective, and focused on getting you what you need when you need it. You all deserve that. This will be a longer-term, ongoing project for us. To accomplish our goals and move this entire region forward, we must be creative, innovative, collaborative, and bold. We must do business in a different way than we have in the past, and that starts with your county government. We must think out of the box, but we must do a whole lot more. We must actually break down the boxes that have boxed in our ability to best serve people and businesses. For way too long, we've had one box for traditional economic development, giving companies financial incentives to attract or keep them. We've had another box for workforce training, and we've had multiple boxes for social services, one for health care, one for child care, one for veteran services, and on and on and on. These rigid boxes create obstacles that undercut our mission of enabling people to attain success. We need to break down the barriers between particular social service programs and between social services, economic development, and workforce training. This makes sense from both an economic and a human perspective. Consider a common situation. A person, we'll call her Sherry, comes to the county because she and her kids need health care. And of course, we would help her. But she also needs utility assistance, and she needs child care so she can work at her job. And she doesn't know it, but she also qualifies for several veterans benefits. The county is uniquely positioned to help stabilize families in the short term. We should never tell people, sorry, we can't help. You've got to go to another agency in another building on the other side of town. When the Sherrys of our county are sent to 3 separate locations to talk with 3 separate caseworkers, they often just give up. There should be no wrong door to your government. Eliminating the separate boxes for social service programs helps stabilize families in the short term. In fact, the situation's even more remarkable than I just described. At the Virgil Brown building on Payne Avenue, if you need food assistance, you go in one side of the building. If you also need child support, you have to leave the building, walk around the outside, enter a door on the opposite side, and go through security a second time. Talk about artificial barriers between agencies. We have barriers within a building. We should also eliminate the boxes separating economic development and social services and instead treat them together. Think about it. It's hard to be the best employee on the job when on the home front you don't have access to affordable quality child care and medical care for your kids and access to transportation. One company owner told me that she was about to fire a good employee who had begun to frequently miss work. But when they talked, it became clear that the employee was a single mom without health insurance, and her kids kept getting sick. Once the employee obtained both health and child care benefits, she again became a reliable, quality employee. If we're going to really stop doing business as usual and change the way we think as a county government, we cannot simply focus on people's emergency needs. We must also get them on the long-term path to prosperity and independence as well. And that means a job and job training. Medicaid intake and job assistance should not be separate. The benefits we help people access at the county can be an important bridge to a better life if we more closely align them with job training, job placement, and supportive services while on the job. The American dream is not a Medicaid card. The American dream is a good job with an income that can sustain a family, health insurance, and a career path to success. So, 3 priorities: job growth and opportunity, fairness and equity, and government that gets results. We'll be talking with you, all of you, over the coming weeks and months about how to move our 3 priorities forward. No matter how we define the path ahead, one thing is clear. Not only must your county government strive to be creative, innovative, and bold, thinking and acting differently than we have in the past, but we must also be a good partner to those of you in other sectors who are doing the same thing. In fact, it's precisely this innovative and bold thinking that once made our region great. A century ago, Cleveland was the Silicon Valley for the Industrial Revolution. We could boast more inventors and more patents per capita than anywhere in the United States of America. People here were smart, creative, and willing to take a chance. And you know what? They still are. We already have pockets of innovation and entrepreneurship that are really exciting. Of course, there are the big players, the better-known players like the Cleveland Clinic, the Harrington Institute at University Hospitals, NASA, Parker, and General Electric, each of which is regularly generating innovations. But we also have tremendous lesser-known jewels that are in our crown. Innovators like John Nottingham and John Spirk, graduates of the Cleveland Institute of Art. They both turned down job offers from big companies and started business here in Cleveland, literally in a garage. What have they done? Let's see. They took a plastic bedpan, sprinkled a little creative pixie dust, and it became the Little Tykes wagon. Then there's the Dirt Devil and the Spin Brush electric toothbrush. And how about that plastic dosage cap that you find on the top of the Pepto-Bismol bottle? They created that too. In fact, they've done so much. Forbes calls these visionaries the closest thing to Thomas Edison. And that's not all. Take Jeff Thrope, a Case graduate with more than 60 patents for neurostimulation devices. In 2008, he sold a device to Medtronic to treat bladder incontinence for $42 million. He loves Cleveland, and he wants to do more right here, as do so many others. Let's smooth the way for them. I envision a future right here in Northeast Ohio where we can again say that we are the hub for innovation, creativity, and entrepreneurship. We still have bright, creative people with great ideas. If we nurture them, support them, and give them a chance, we can help them create new businesses and new jobs right here in Northeast Ohio. Here are 6 specific initiatives, all part of our innovation agenda, to again make our region a hub for innovation and entrepreneurship. First, if you or your youngster has an idea that could become the next Microsoft or Facebook, How can he or she get started? How about going to the library? I'm pleased to announce today a unique public-private partnership with the county library system to create innovation centers throughout Northeast Ohio. We'll start with a pilot at 3 libraries in Garfield, Mayfield, and the Parma Library. This will be one part of an innovation ecosystem. If you have an idea for a business, come to the library. You'll be able to work on a high-speed internet connection with helpful equipment like a 3D printer and an assortment of software options. Mentors from wonderful incubators like ThinkBox, Launch House, and Bizdom will make themselves available to teach and counsel our new entrepreneurs, along with experts from CASE, Cleveland State, NASA, Jumpstart, and Tri-C. What else can we do to support innovators and entrepreneurs in our region? I believe we can turn Northeast Ohio into the Silicon Valley of healthcare. You know what? We already have a great foundation to build on. The Cleveland Clinic, UH, Metro, St. Vincent, our healthcare institutions are second to none in the world, and they're constantly spinning off new innovations that will become new businesses. Those businesses could be in Boston, they could grow in New York, they could thrive in California, anywhere. We want them to grow and create wealth and jobs here. To grow, they need startup and early stage money. That's a major message I received during my first 100 days when I met with 100 businesses. They need better access to capital from local sources. Capital's readily available on the coasts, not so much here in the Midwest. So here's my second innovation initiative. The county can use its resources to leverage and bring private capital here to grow young businesses here. That's why I've issued 2 requests for proposals to attract a total of at least $15 million to Northeast Ohio to support startup businesses. And these programs should not cost our taxpayers because we'll be making loans, not grants, and they'll be protected by secure repayment guarantees. My third initiative involves reigniting the Global Center for Health Innovation. The Global Center is unique in the world. It presents the opportunity to promote creativity within an exciting innovation environment which will start, grow, and attract businesses right here. The Global Center has not yet come close to realizing its full potential, but we're taking steps to correct that. First, we've hired a top-notch managing director for the Global Center, Fred DeGrandis, who's here tonight, to work with SMG General Manager Mark Leahy and Executive Director Barbara McBee. And we are now standing up an advisory committee of innovation leaders, including Dr. Tom Graham, Chief Innovation Officer at the Cleveland Clinic. Dr. Graham has agreed to chair this advisory committee. Dr. Ron Berkman, President of Cleveland State University. Dr. Akram Boutros, President of Metro Health Systems. Dr. Marco Costa, Vice President and Chief Innovation Officer at University Hospital Health System. Craig Maxwell, Corporate Vice President of Technology and Innovation at Parker Hannifin. Aram Nurponi, President of BioEnterprise. John Nottingham, who I mentioned earlier, Co-President of Nottingham Spirk. Dr. Suzanne Rivera, Vice President for Research at Case Western Reserve University. Carla Smith, Executive Vice President at HIMSS. Dr. Jerry Sue Thornton, President Emeritus for Cuyahoga Community College. And Stuart Weitzman, Director of Market Development and Innovation Programs at GE Ventures. Under the leadership of Fred DeGrandis, Dr. Tom Graham, and our advisory committee, the Global Center will bring together the most powerful health-related innovation programs in the entire world. Our focus on innovation and entrepreneurship goes beyond the healthcare and technology arenas. We're blessed with local entrepreneurs looking to start the neighborhood beauty salon or hardware store or restaurant. These entrepreneurs need access to capital and mentoring too. Often the difference between success and failure, between stagnation and growth, is a small loan, perhaps in the range of $25,000, maybe as much as $125,000. Unfortunately, banks often aren't interested in making these small loans because the costs or the risks are just too high. So my fourth innovation and entrepreneurship initiative is designed to help people like Angelina Rodriguez-Pata. Angelina was a stay-at-home mom. She enjoyed making jewelry at home and decided to try to start her own women's apparel business. She wrote up a 32-page business plan and went to one bank after another to try to get a $25,000 loan. She was rebuffed each time. A startup business is just too risky, she was told. And she had good personal credit. Her husband had a good job. Didn't matter. She even offered to put up her home and personal assets as collateral. Still no luck. Then she found ECDI, a micro lender that makes loans of $500 to $100,000 to small businesses in Northeast Ohio. This time her loan application for $25,000 was approved without Angelina having to put up her house. 7 months later, her business is doing very well. She's actually making money in just 7 months. The name of her shop, by the way, is Blackbird Fly Boutique at West 28th in Lorraine. You might want to stop by and buy something. You can tell her that Armond sent you, but it won't get you any discount. Is Angelina here tonight? She was supposed to be here, but she owns a small business, and she's obviously working late. In 2013, Cuyahoga County made a loan to ECDI in the amount of $550,000, along with other funders, to help it get going in our region. Today, it's made 111 loans in our county of $2.9 million. 61% of the businesses supported by these loans are owned by women. 70% are minority businesses. Because these loans are circulating and drawing some interest, the balance on our loan availability remains at about $550,000. The county hasn't lost any money. And that's money that we can continue to recycle, enabling more local development. We can do even more to support small business entrepreneurs. As my fourth innovation initiative, we've designed a new program through which the county, subject to council approval, will use a secured and guaranteed loan of $2 million to leverage the raising of an additional $8 million. This program will make loans to many, many more small, female, and minority-owned businesses, and again, should be at no cost to the county. Fifth, inclusion is an essential part of innovation. When we talk about small businesses, we must recognize that businesses owned by and employing minorities and women have just not gotten a fair shake. The county recently completed a disparity study, and the results are clear and disappointing. If we are to move forward as a county, we must all move forward. We cannot leave minorities and women behind. At the end of last year, the administration proposed a community benefits agreement to help remedy these disparities. This legislation is currently being reviewed in a council committee. I look forward to working closely with Vice President Purnell Jones, Public Works Committee Chair Chuck Germana, and the rest of council to get a community benefits agreement done as soon as possible. In the meantime, there are two other steps we can take right now. In my first 100-day meetings, I heard from small and minority business owners that the certification and application processes can be unnecessarily burdensome and the paperwork often is duplicative. I've asked my Economic Development Office to review and streamline those requirements. Our small and minority businesses should not have to spend more time, energy, and money filling out the paperwork than doing the job. I also heard that small and minority contractors often can't qualify for projects because the bonding requirements set by government are too high. For a small minority contractor, having to come up with $50,000 or $100,000 bond can be an insurmountable hurdle. To address that problem quickly, I will be sending to Council legislation seeking to eliminate the bond requirement on jobs smaller than $250,000. This will give qualified small and minority contractors who previously could not afford a bond to have the chance to work on county projects for the very first time. Sixth, I mentioned earlier that people in need of government assistance often get trapped in a maze of bureaucracy, getting sent from one office to another until they just give up. Well, businesses often have similar problems. They may have a need for government help, or they may have problems with government regulations, but they don't know where to go or what to do. And they can't afford to hire expensive lawyers to help guide them. Just as there should be no wrong door for individuals, there should be no wrong door for businesses. For that reason, we will repurpose a member of our Economic Development Department to serve as a business ombudsman to help businesses better access their government. So those are 6 specific initiatives which are part of our new innovation agenda. Now, I'm running out of my time, and I know they strictly enforce the time here. I don't want to get gonged. But we've been working on lots more ideas that we'll be discussing with you soon. But I'll throw out one last one as a bonus. The county's been developing an exciting innovation partnership with the Cleveland Foundation. While our plans have not yet been finalized, I hope to be able to announce some specifics in the coming weeks. So we'll just call that one a teaser. So this will be just the beginning of my conversations with you. There are many more exciting projects and innovative initiatives we'll be rolling out in the coming weeks and coming months. It's clear that our progress depends on all of us working together. If we each stay in our own silos or boxes, we will not succeed. But if we bring together and leverage the unique strengths and skill sets of our citizens, businesses, nonprofits, philanthropic organizations, and all levels of government, that's where the power for solutions will be found. Solutions to achieve our shared vision for an economically vibrant, healthy, and prosperous region. We must all work together. We must work together to create and grow jobs. We must work together to bridge the opportunity gaps that hold people back. And we must work together to make government work for you. I stand here ready to do my part, to work with you. I need you with me. We have lots to do, and there's no time to waste. Thank you all very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. County Executive. I'm Dan Malthrop, Chief Executive at the City Club of Cleveland, and this evening, if you're just joining us on the radio or on television, we are enjoying the annual State of the County address this year, the first for County Executive Armond Budish of Cuyahoga County. We're about to start the Q&A, and we encourage you to organize your questions now and remind you that your questions should be brief and to the point. You can form lines behind the 2 microphones that we have in either aisle. We'd like to thank our partners in the media, 90.3 WCPN Idea Stream and WVIZ PBS, for carrying this program live on the radio and broadcasting it this evening on television. Idea Stream is our primary media partner. We'd also like to thank the many other radio stations that carry our Friday forums across the country and around the region. Radio and television broadcasts of the City Club are made possible by Cleveland State University and PNC. Tonight's program is sponsored by the Sisters of Charity, whose generous support allowed us to offer this program for free, and we thank them very much. Could we get a round of applause, please, for the Sisters of Charity Health System? We are also supported tonight, of course, by the Cuyahoga County Public Library System, which provided this venue and is hosting us this evening. Could we get a round of applause for the Cuyahoga County Library? And, of course, Mayor DeGeter, thank you very much. We love Parma. And now it's time for our traditional City Club Q&A. We welcome questions from everyone, of course, members and guests and friends and all attendees. As I said, the lines are forming behind the two microphones. And let's get started. Mr. County Executive.
Thank you.
County Executive Budish, you said recently that the county would not be able to take on new projects because of the obligations that the county already has. Would you talk a little bit about that?
Well, thank you for the question. I don't believe that's quite the way I put it. We will take on new projects. We will continue moving the momentum forward that we've had. We have done some great projects in Cuyahoga County. The council and last administration did some wonderful, wonderful things. What I said was that looking forward, we have to make sure we can pay for future projects. And we have a great deal of debt, and we have a significant debt service that we have to look at. And to add to that is difficult right now. So what we will be doing is looking at ways to find money in our budget. And I believe that can be done. We have a task force that I put together of experts in the financial world that are, it's just tremendous that so many people agreed to give us time, effort, and energy. And they've agreed to help go through our budget with us and help us find savings, find funds, so that we can continue to do the projects that we all want to do, and some of which we have to do, like Metro Health and the Justice Center and others, major capital projects that are in need of our help.
Mr. Budish, how are you, and thank you.
Good, thank you.
When you met with the businesses, have you talked with them about possibly helping to take those who have come from prisons, who have felony records, and who can't find employment anywhere? We have to deal with them continually in the faith-based community. And along with that, have you looked at how many of our young people are going through the juvenile detention center and ending up in the county and on their way to prison and finding themselves without a future?
Thank you. Yes, I spoke to many businesses about reentry issues. The fact is that we truly need to give people a second chance in this county, and people want a second chance. There are many people who have prison records for minor drug offenses that find themselves unable to get a job ever because of one mistake during their lives. So we need to look at ways that we can deal with reentry. I had a great meeting, for example, with Brandon Kristofsky at Edwin's restaurant. What they're doing is fabulous at Edwin's. They have basically a school within Edwin's restaurant at Shaker Square, and again, another place I recommend you go if you have a chance, where they're giving people a chance to learn a trade, a career in all different parts of restaurant service. What's wonderful about that program, and why I'd love to figure out if there's a way to reproduce that in other areas, and Brandon has indicated that he'd like to work with the county on that, it's the caring piece of it. It's the fact that if somebody comes to his school to work with Edwin's, and they have a drug problem, and Brandon recognizes that, he doesn't fire them. he gets them connected to county services to help them get the treatment and rehab that they need. And then he'll take them back. And it is working. The recidivism rate for people who have gone through Edwin's is minuscule. It's a tremendous program, and one that Brandon and I have talked about ways that we might be able to replicate that in other businesses and other fields. And it's an exciting opportunity for us, I believe. Thank you. I might also add, because I don't want to omit, the county Common Pleas Court has a reentry court that is also amazing. I've visited out there. I've met with the people who are going through that program, and I will tell you that too is exciting. Their recidivism rate is also almost non-existent. If there's a program that's working that we can scale up in this county, we need to look at being able to do that. That's a program that is working.
Hi. The city of Cleveland is known as a green city on a blue lake, and the state of Ohio is a leader in terms of LEED certified K-12 schools. Where does environmental sustainability fit into your priorities?
Thank you for asking that. County Council last year created a Department of Sustainability for the county. We have appointed our first director and the deputy director, who are both here tonight. Mike and Chanel, are you guys around here somewhere? When I was drafting this state of the county, I had to limit. I didn't want to have just a laundry list of programs. But I will tell you, again, another teaser, something will be coming up soon that the Department of Sustainability has been working on that could be transformative for our county. Thank you. Is that a good teaser, Mike? All right.
Mr. County Executive, I'm really happy to hear you talk about trying to link economic development and health and human services, because a job is one of the best things that we can give people to help them get ahead. But one of the areas you touched on in your introduction was our sort of abysmal track record around infant mortality in this community. And I'm wondering what you're thinking the county might be able to do to try and improve those rankings so that we finally tackle that issue and get it done.
Infant mortality is such an important subject. I've talked about it multiple times. It is shocking, the high rate of infant mortality in a city that has the best health care in the world. So something has to change. We as a county actually fund a number of programs aimed at reducing or eliminating infant mortality. Obviously, the results are not across the board successful. In fact, not even close. So what we need to do and what we will be doing, what we've already put in place, we will be reviewing each and every program that we're funding. Metrics will guide everything we do as an administration, and this is at the top of the list. We will evaluate every program we're putting money into. If they are producing results, we will scale them up, and if they're not producing results, they get eliminated. There's enough money in the system, I believe, to make a big impact. We just have to direct that money in the right places. Thank you.
Thank you for coming, Mr. Budish. I
Thank you.
have two questions that are basically interrelated. I worked for the city of Cleveland in the engineering department for 35 years, doing mostly street reconstruction, and they concern bonding for public improvement contracts and possibility of joint certification of MBE, FBE, DBE with the city, the state, RTA, so someone says, you know, I can work for you, but I can't work for them. And have you looked into joint certification of MBE, FBE, DBE? And I would ask you to seriously reconsider not waiving your bonding requirements for public improvement contracts. Thank you.
Thank you. Let me address directly the issue that you raised with the various certification and programs, requirements that are out there. I alluded to it. I didn't get into great detail in my speech, but that's exactly what I heard from people, that they've got to go through all these different programs, they've got to file all these different papers, they're duplicative, they get to the same point. In my view, there's no reason for that. There's no reason that if the state of Ohio, for example, has a good certification program, that we can't just accept that instead of having them go through another certification through the county. We will reduce the duplication and the wasted time and effort that MBEs and FBEs and others have to go through when they deal with the county. Thank you.
County Executive,
Yes.
Thank you very much. Appreciate the way you've outlined your plan for the future.
Just part of my plan.
Well,
The rest will be coming.
That's where my question's going. You've named a lot of really important assets in terms of Cleveland and Cuyahoga County's future. Where do you see the arts and cultural sector fitting into your plan and working to address some of these issues that are very important to our community?
Arts and culture is critically important. One of the things that both Councilman Schron and I spent time talking about on the campaign trail, and in full and complete agreement, was the importance of the arts and culture to this region. The fact is that when we talk about, as a high priority, jobs and bringing people to the region and making this a place that people want to live and stay in, where our kids want to return, the arts and culture is a vital piece of that. So I am fully supportive of the levy that's coming up. I've already had a meeting with Council President Brady. I know that Council and I will be working closely with the CAC and others. Barbara Robinson's here, who I know is working hard on this levy program to make sure that we get it passed and to make sure that we continue to provide high level of support for the top arts and culture city, perhaps in the world. Thank you. Oh. The gong is ready to go.
This evening, we have been enjoying the annual State of the County address by Cuyahoga County Executive Armond Budish. Thank you, County Executive. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. This forum is now adjourned.
For information on upcoming speakers or for podcasts of the City Club, go to cityclub.org.